Welcome to another episode of Hard Factor. It is Monday, August 26th, and our top stories for the day. I'm going to do a rundown of the G7 meeting in France.
Hell yeah.
G7!
Yeah, G7 indeed. And then Pat, Mark, and Wes will take us on a news buffet of other headlines. All right, so first up, the G7 rundown. G7, which stands for Group of Seven, right?
Not a very original name.
Yeah, it's Group of Seven.
Group of Seven.
It stands for Group of Seven.
Group of Seven.
Does?
Yeah.
Okay, Global 7, Governments, Times 7, one of those things. Group of 7, I guess. It's a meeting between 7 of the top economic countries in the world. It used to be 8 countries. It's like a country club for the world's elite economies,
So
basically.
you get kicked out if you're not doing great.
Russia got kicked out by Obama, yeah.
China didn't even get invited.
No.
Yeah, and they're number 2,
Yeah.
and they're not even in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that has something to do with them, their government style. But anyways, leading up to the G7 was a little weird. Trump was talking shit to France and Denmark. The Danes aren't in the G7, but it's mostly European, so that sort of set the stage a little strange. Also, Trump wants Russia to be invited back in to the G7 to make it the G8 again, even though they're the 12th largest global economy, behind China, India, Brazil, and South Korea as other notable economies that are not in the G7.
Yeah.
So
Trump wants a buddy.
I don't know if Trump should be arguing for Russia to come back in the G7.
He just wants a friend.
Yeah.
It's like, Will, you were an only child when you went on vacation. You take one of us. You want a bud.
right. I mean, it's true. He's got Boris Johnson now, though. So
Yes.
I feel like he's got his buddy there. Also, Russia with the 12th largest economy, like you got it. I mean, I get China. Maybe you don't bring them in, but you have India, Brazil, and South Korea all above Russia. So.
Well, would they have to promise to stop hacking us or no? It's not part of the deal.
I would hope so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And as far as hacking though, they're G1 Russia.
Yeah, they're definitely G1.
Well, them and China. Yeah, they're G1 and 2. All right. Anyways, here's the takeaway from day 1, Sunday of the G7 summit. Trump and Economic Council Director Larry Kudlow are staying hardline on China. Here's Kudlow's quote: "There are always disagreements. You got high-powered leaders here. And there may be tactical disagreements, but every single one of those leaders agreed that something has got to be done about China's unfair trading practices. Every single one expressed support on that very key point," unquote.
They were all just huzzahing about China sucking. Yeah, huzzah.
Easy to talk shit about China when they're not in the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, number 2 economy, can't even get an invite. I mean,
Why didn't they just video call Xi? They should have prank called him.
They should especially prank call Putin.
Yes.
Like, I mean, because he wants to be there the most.
Not if they want to
anybody who's not
live,
there.
Will.
It's like a fake invite.
Yeah.
No one prank calls Putin. Not.
Yeah, that is a dangerous
not
game.
since
You don't
the
live to
last
tell the
time.
tale.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Trump and Macron are not cool over the surprise invite of Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif. I guess Macron just last second invited this guy to the town where they're having the meeting. Macron's just trying to, fuck up Trump.
He's like, guess who's here, bitches?
That's super inappropriate.
Yeah.
He's not in the crew.
He just gave him a hoverboard to fly in
mean,
over everyone's heads with.
Lamborghini hoverboard.
Yeah.
That's exactly right, Mark. I mean, Macron and Trump are just constantly fucking with each other. Like, Macron just started a Space Force a year after Trump started a Space Force. So that kind of thing. I mean, it's just going to be non-stop one-upsmanship from these two.
That's what the G7's all about, especially from the host, whoever's hosting
Yeah.
and stuff. It's all about one-upsmanship.
Like, international version of, welcome to the fucking show. That part about from that movie.
In the Will Ferrell, Zach Galifianakis movie.
Right, exactly. It's the international politics of that, yeah. Also, Macron and Trump don't see eye to eye on environmental policy, but they did at least agree that we need to do something to put out the Amazon forest fires. Wes is going to have more on that later. On the other hand, like we talked about earlier, Trump and Boris Johnson are now fast friends, with Trump saying about Johnson at breakfast that, quote, "He needs no advice. He's the right man for the job," unquote.
Everyone needs advice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Boris Johnson and Trump are have you seen that movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
I haven't seen it, no.
Well, it's there's different Spider-Man, basically there's a different version of you in every universe.
Yeah, Boris Johnson's the UK Spider-Man, Trump's the U.S.
Exactly. Like Boris Johnson's a different universe version of Trump, and they just ended up in the same universe.
I bet Trump had a drink this weekend hanging with Boris. Like, how do you not? Because he's not a drinker, Trump.
Or he
isn't.
let Boris take all the drinks he would have.
Yeah, exactly.
This is also
Yeah,
good for the Brexit
drink one
bet.
for me, Boris.
Oh, yeah. Very good for the Brexit bet on Predict It.
Oh, this is great for Brexit. It's also great for people in general because they'll be seeing pictures of Trump and Johnson together, and they're like human highlighters.
That's
so
great.
it's just like awesome pictures. Yeah. And then speaking of pictures, some good ones from Sunday at the G7. There is a great one of Melania. She appears to be smelling Justin Trudeau after kissing him on the cheek during a photo op. So
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, she's just sending her orgasm to him through her eyes.
He's
It is
easily
a
the
saucy pic.
hottest politician of all time. And Melania's looking really good in that picture.
That's an
Yeah, she is.
R-rated picture.
Melania is steamy in that one. There's a really weird one of Trump where he's leaning into the camera next to Macron. They're both at the G7 table, but Trump is leaning in to appear larger than Macron, like a puffer fish, like just like wants to be bigger.
He doesn't have to lean in very far.
He took that photo home to Barron and showed him, see, Barron, this is what you do.
Well, Barron's also really tall now.
Yeah, Barron got real big.
Yeah, Barron's huge. That's crazy. That new picture of him. They've been feeding that kid something else. And then also, let's see here. The last one. Oh, the weirdest one of all, the Skycam pic. So there's like this G7 table where all the leaders sit at, and they had a camera directly above the table, a Skycam facing down, and all of them just leaned back in their chairs and took like a weird staring up picture at the Skycam. Very strange. Very strange. All right.
Something
Check
to
those out if you
masturbate
get the
to
chance.
later.
What's that?
I said something to masturbate to later for me.
For you,
There you
that
go.
Skycam
Yeah,
pic.
something that
Look
I
at
like.
those! Look at those powerful men.
I got them all in one frame.
Right up, look at that upwards view and
Look-
everything.
looking down on him,
And
jerking
woman.
off.
There was one woman, Angela Merkel.
I don't
And
even
woman.
have to have multiple tabs. They're all there.
All right, that's pretty much it from the G7 so far. Taking it to the internet, we have a tourist from Biarritz, France. That's not how you say it, but that's the name
Don't
of
you
the
speak
town.
French?
Dennis Kovalov says, because of this, 7 people and hundreds of their staff people and visitors of Biarritz was not allowed to use beach for the entire weekend. How is it fair?
It's not,
Holy shit!
It's not fair.
You couldn't use the beach the whole weekend.
It's not fair.
Yeah, Dennis also scheduled his vacation during the G7 at this small French coastal
gonna
town.
trade lives with
his
Dennis right now.
His plane flights were also just astronomical. What a bad planning by Dennis.
Poor Dennis.
Yeah, really bad. Every other comment was about them needing to do something about the burning Amazon, but Wes will tell us about that later. All right,
Dennis,
take
Trump,
us to the
and
news
G.
buffet.
Well, before we
Big
get in the
losers.
news buffet, let's talk about gambling real quick. We got a nice little short market for you to discuss today. In a little bit, I like to call, go on, take the money and run. So first step of this plan, of this bit, is log into or onto www.predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20 and create an account and deposit $20 in that account, and we'll match that 20. You'll get a free 20, boys.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet. This site, predictit.org, is totally legal and legit, and it's incredible, so just do it.
Yeah, it takes like 2 minutes, and you can tell it's legal because unlike some of those sports gambling sites, you can use any American bank card.
100%.
Not just Bitcoin.
You don't have to use Bitcoin.
You're not going to have to call Wells Fargo and tell them that
Yeah.
you're trying to buy a gift for your grandmother, and that's why you need to deposit $1,000.
Right, in Lithuania.
Yes,
She
exactly.
loves Lithuanian goods.
The soaps
Yeah.
are great there. Anyway, once you have an account with your free $20, take a look at the market for Mississippi Governor GOP primary. So on Tuesday, August 27th, Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves and former State Chief Justice Bill Waller Jr. are in a runoff for the governor's seat.
It's a runoff.
Yeah, and the consensus...
Who's whiter of the two?
They're both pretty white gentlemen.
Are they?
Okay.
Have you looked them up?
No idea, but
We don't know.
they're running for something in Mississippi.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I would say whoever's the palest usually.
Well, our take, though, our hot take here, whiteness aside, is that Waller's going to win.
Yeah, Waller almost won. They did runoff because no one got above 50%, but Waller got like 49.3% of the vote, and the guy, Tate, who's in second place, got 33% of the vote. He did get endorsed by the guy that got the other 18% of the vote, but it's Waller.
Yeah,
Waller.
You go into the voting poll and you don't know anything. You just see Wall in the guy's name. You're voting for that guy in Mississippi.
Exactly.
Interesting take, yeah.
Yeah, Tate Reeves sounds a little bit European.
Bill Waller Jr.
Bill Waller Jr.
Oh, the
slam
junior,
dunk.
too. That lets you know that.
67 years old, very white. Safe
Slam
bet.
dunk win.
What's the other guy's name?
Tate Reeves, Lieutenant Governor. And the junior in Bill Waller's name lets you know that his dad might be involved, so he's not going to make any crazy progressive decisions.
Yeah, he's got generational wealth.
Yep.
Tate Reeves is a ginger, making him extra white. But maybe like the ginger part probably takes you back.
It's the wrong kind of white, Will.
this.
Yeah.
It's the wrong kind
Yeah,
of white.
but you're also half dead if you're a ginger. You're almost like
That's true. Anyway, guys, bet on Waller to win. You can also bet the margin of victory, which the 10 to 15% margin of victory at 12 cents at the time of this recording looks pretty fucking sexy. So I would buy heavy there.
yeah. I mean, if it was 49% to 33%, that's a variance of about 15 to 16%. The other guy did get an endorsement, but that 10% is looking sexy.
Yeah. Throw your cash in there. Get your mom a nice soap from Lithuania. Remember that the first $20 is free at Predicted if you put in $20. That's predicted.org/promo/hardfactor20. You got to go to that URL if you want the free 20. See the lines for yourself. Do a little research. Maybe reach out to the Hard Factor boys. Let's make some money.
Yeah.
And now let's get to the news buffet.
Take me to the Moose Buffet.
The Moose Buffet. It's hurricane season,
eat
boys.
more chicken.
Eat more chicken. We've been relatively lucky this year, but currently Tropical Storm Dorian is swirling around the Atlantic, and according to the U.S. National Hurricane Center, which for the record has to be one of the most depressing jobs in the world, the storm could reach hurricane strength by Tuesday.
Yeah, that's like the lighthouse keeper in like the late 1800s, early 1900s, like when you just knew
It's nothing but
ships were gonna
tragedy.
die.
Yeah.
Just tragedies.
You
yeah.
come home, you take your hat off. Your wife says, "How many people are going to die today?"
Yeah.
Let me tell you. The storm may be hitting the Caribbean's Lesser Antilles, which is kind of an insult to injury if you ask me. Those poor people already have to live in the Lesser Antilles, and now a storm is coming. If I had my way, those smug bastards in the Greater Antilles would have to endure the storm. Maybe it would knock them down a peg or two.
Yeah, that's a pretty rude naming of the Antilles.
Yeah.
Antilles is just islands. Is that what they're?
It's a archipelago.
Archipelago.
Yeah. If it does become a hurricane, guys, though, don't fret, because our fearless leader has a solution. And no, it's not enforcing stricter regulations on industrial processes that pollute the environment or doing things like not withdrawing from the Paris Agreement on climate change. No, his solution is a much more swift and practical approach to the increased frequency of storms and their strengths, and that's to nuke them.
Oh, nuke the storms.
Yeah, nuke them. Nuke those bad storms.
Well, don't knock it till you try it.
Well,
Let's
like-
try it once.
He's like, let's get a giant fan and push back on the storm.
how big of a
Look.
fan can we get?
I'm saying, like, when you see that little fucking hurricane on the radar screen, it is infuriating to look at. So, like, they nuke everything in movies that's going to destroy America. So,
In
like,
one movie, they nuke an asteroid.
Yeah.
Not everything.
I mean,
don't they nuke something in Day After or like several other?
No,
I
Several
don't
other?
think so.
I think it's a nuke. Fallout.
Just Armageddon.
Just Armageddon is the one movie where they nuke something.
Well, that's the best one, anyways. I mean, it's the only real American, like, that's the one. If you're
Let's
going to
try it.
judge.
Let's
Hey, I
try
mean,
it once.
It might be worth the shot.
All right. Well, look, guys. According to inside sources in meetings with Homeland Security, Trump floated the idea of dropping nuclear bombs on hurricanes to stop them in their tracks. Apparently, Trump said something to the effect of, quote, I got it. Why don't we nuke them? They start forming off the coast of Africa, and as they're moving across the Atlantic, we drop a bomb inside the eye of the hurricane that disrupts it. Why can't we do that? Well, the reason we can't do that... Well, okay.
Go on.
A National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration fact sheet was released to address the proposed quote, saying, apart from the fact that this might not even alter the storm, this approach neglects the problem that the released radioactive fallout would move fairly quickly with trade winds to affect land areas and cause devastating environmental problems.
Yeah, two quick things I could think of is the storm would turn into radiation winds, and once it touches land, everyone gets radiation and cancer and dies. Also, probably you're going to get some fucked up sharks probably out there and whales that are now
In
like,
the storm.
that now like have radiation poisoning and are eating other things, and then we're going to fish those animals and then get radiation from eating like shark, tuna, and whales and shit.
Yeah.
Well, but can you be sure without trying?
I
No, I guess not.
I can't believe I
guess
have
not.
to tell you guys this, but we gotta explain that this is a bad idea.
I don't know. Fuck it. Let's try it once. All right. Toy maker Hasbro has acquired Death Row Records, the influential West Coast gangster rap label that was founded by Suge Knight, the DOC, and Dr. Dre in 1991. Death Row was heavily influential in the 90s, for those of you that are younger than 30. They had artists like Tupac Shakur and Snoop Dogg leading the way, and they were just a huge fucking big deal. So Hasbro, the worldwide toy maker, announced the $4 billion deal Thursday to buy British company Entertainment One, which produces animated kids shows such as Peppa Pig and PJ Masks, along with owning Death Row Records.
Yeah, and
Ah,
a
that's a
shit
good
ton,
mix.
shit ton of other record labels. But I worked with E1, and Death Row was absolutely their crown jewel
Yeah.
of catalog.
For sure. Now it's Hasbro's crown jewel. Here's a quote from the Hasbro.
From the makers of Candyland.
Yeah.
Here's Death Row Records.
Hasbro CEO Brian Goldner said, the acquisition of E1 adds beloved story-led global family brands that deliver strong operating returns to Hasbro's portfolio and provides a pipeline of new brand creation driven by family-oriented storytelling.
You punk-ass bitch.
So, yeah. So it's unclear if Brian Goldner had any idea that E1 purchased Death Row Records in 2013 and now they own it. But I would definitely buy a Death Row Records version of Monopoly or a Snoop Dogg with blunt in hand action figure this Christmas.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Why not?
Also, does this mean they own the rights to Leprechaun in the Hood, the movie series?
It's possible. We'll get back to you on that. It's very
Well,
possible.
but I'm just saying that should have always been made into a board game. That movie series. was
Leprechaun, the board game.
I miss
Leprechaun in the Hood,
I miss
specifically.
Leprechaun in the Hood. There were like 4 of them.
No, that was the second one, though, I think. Wasn't it Leprechaun 2, Leprechaun in the Hood?
Oh, you're right. Leprechaun in the Hood was
Leprechaun was
an offshoot.
It was a
of the Leprechaun
standalone
series.
movie. I thought it was a series.
No.
It was.
Leprechaun
Leprechaun the movie was a series.
Leprechaun was a series. They may have done 2 total Leprechaun in the Hoods, but the second Leprechaun, I believe, was Leprechaun in the Hood. Get on your horror movies from like the 90s. Come on, guys.
All right, moving on. Well, in case you didn't catch my latest tweet, like my massive 1,641 people following on Twitter did, I am taking a stand against the massive fire burning in the Amazon. And,
It was an awesome tweet, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I thought I looked pretty good. And the planet's lungs
I
as
missed it.
environmentalists
You don't take
like
many
myself-
stands. This is a nice one. It's like,
I think it's pretty important.
yeah, there you go.
And the planet's lungs, as environmentalists like myself call it, is in big trouble. So the fires are so big that President Macron of France wants the matter talked about at the G7 summit, as Will mentioned. And some countries attending the summit said they would even levy economic penalties in the forms of blocking a trade deal between the EU and Brazil if their president, Jair Bolsonaro, doesn't stop blaming the fires on warm weather and do something about it.
Oh, okay.
He's not just blaming it on warm weather. He's also blaming it on NGOs, non-government organizations, who he thinks are lighting the fires.
Yeah, he says that there's a conspiracy that they're lighting the fires against him.
Yeah, people think cattle ranchers and loggers are doing it to like utilize the land. I don't know.
He also has that brain cat disease thing, so don't really listen too much to what he says.
Or
Yeah.
anyone in Brazil.
Toxoplasmosis or whatever.
Plasmosis.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to react to a fire as adversely as most people would.
Right. So in a tweet, Macron said, quote, "Our house is burning, literally. The Amazon rainforest, the lungs of our planet, which produces 20% of our oxygen, is on fire. It's an international crisis." To that, Bolsonaro said that Macron was being a sensationalist and was using the fires for his own political gain, adding, quote, "Spreading unfounded data and messages inside or outside Brazil does not help solve the problem and lends itself only to political use and misinformation." So he's just, being a little cynical here.
So he doesn't want to fix the forest fires because he doesn't agree with Macron's environmental stances?
He's making a ton of cash on the forest fires, is my take. Because
What are people doing?
He was encouraging deforestation, and he cut the Environmental Enforcement Agency of Brazil's budget by like $26 million.
Yeah, that was one of his platforms they ran on. So this guy has the whole world watching.
Seems like that's causing a problem, it sounds like.
Could
It
say.
is. He's sending in some troops to help deal with it, but not enough apparently. So
What are the troops going to do? Nuke it? Shoot at it? Like
Yeah.
it's a massive
they have
forest.
We've
Super
got an
soakers.
ice nuke.
Super
Yeah.
soakers instead of guns.
I have no idea, but he's got the whole world watching him as these fires burn out of control. He's being threatened with economic penalties if he doesn't put the fires out, and I imagine he's just about to lose his fucking mind. And everyone, including Trump, is like, "We can help you if you want it," and I don't understand why they're just not already doing it.
Cat disease.
Yeah, no, we need to probably just help them. Everyone should probably help the rainforest situation. Yeah.
Yeah, let's
If
get it put out.
20% of oxygen is a pretty staggering number.
Right.
Let's get it put out.
All right, guys, before we get on the next story real quick, there were 8 Leprechaun films, and it was Leprechaun 1, 2, 3, Leprechaun 4 in Space, Leprechaun in the Hood, Leprechaun Back to the Hood,
Okay.
There we
Leprechaun
go.
Origins, and Leprechaun Returns.
Wait,
So
which
I was
That's
right
why I
about
thought
the
it was a
Leprechauns,
series.
And it was Leprechaun 5 and 6, you're saying?
Leprechaun 5 and 6 was in the Hood, and then they went back to the Hood.
My
is the one
favorite,
where-
too.
Immediately back to the Hood.
Yeah.
They had some unfinished business in the Hood with the Leprechaun.
Which is the one where he makes the guy think that he's like about to go into some girl's titties, but it's actually like a lawnmower. Remember that scene?
No.
I don't remember, but he has catchphrases: "A friend with weed is a friend indeed."
That's true. We got to check out Leprechaun
Yeah.
in Space, which
Yeah.
came out first. All right, Andrew Luck is hanging up his pads and retiring from the game of football, y'all. Not so lucky if you drafted him in your fantasy league, but also if you drafted your fantasy league already, you're a dumbass.
Yeah, not so lucky. O.J. Simpson, who tweeted that he drafted him an hour before his retirement while drinking a glass of wine and looking very free.
Yeah, you played 10 years in the league. You don't know about injuries during preseason?
Looking
Yeah.
too free.
They're looking way too smiley
too
and free.
Yeah. OJ's too free. Pat made a great point, though. You cannot draft before the end of week 3.
Look at my
preseason.
driver's license.
I can drive wherever I want to.
I can drive.
He's like, the thing is, I drafted him though because I can draft now.
Yeah, I can draft. Anyway, guys, football is a game that gave Andrew Luck more money than he'll ever be able to spend, to which he gave back a pretty good but not overwhelming performance.
Yeah, a couple of Pro Bowl seasons.
Yeah. Luck cited that the seemingly never-ending cycle of him being injured is the main reason for him wanting to walk away from football.
That makes sense.
He also has a difficulty differentiating between the word appreciated and appreciative. Check out his press conference. It's great. Luck said in his press conference from Lucas Oil Stadium on Saturday, quote, "I haven't been able to live the life I want to live. It's taken the joy out of the game. Oh, no. The only way forward for me is to remove myself from football. This is not an easy decision. It's the hardest decision of my life, but it's the right decision for me."
It was the easiest decision of his life.
Yeah, why is everyone so mad about this?
was
Everyone
the
would do the
easiest
same
decision of his
fucking
life.
thing if they really had.
What do you
know.
think?
Oh, absolutely. I
Made
mean, he
100
just,
million?
Made about $100 million.
Yeah, it was a pretty easy decision.
So, I mean, immediately I got kind of pissed. Like, well, is he going to give some of the money back?
no.
Actually,
What?
it turns out that the Colts graciously waived their right to recoup part of the monies that they paid Luck to the tune of $25 million.
Why would he give? First of all, why would he give money back, dude?
Because
Like he put his body on the line. Like he's retiring because he gets injured. Like I mean, that's a player's right to do. I get people that are
sport.
upset with him, but
Tough sport. You're right.
Like-
You deserve it, Andrew. Take a forever vacation, you 29-year-old king.
Yeah, I think that's the real reason he's retiring is because he is 29 years old, but everyone can see by looking at him that he's aged. He's probably like 50 in real life age, so he's probably just too old to play.
Yeah, and he definitely has a second career as playing one of the cavemen in a Geico commercials, if you ever heard the guy talk.
Yeah, with no makeup. Just his neck beard and his voice.
it is a cush retirement though. 29 with a couple $100 million.
Yeah, good for him.
Sucks for the Colts. They were going to be really good this year. Now they're going to suck. All right, we might have our first crime from outer space, guys. That's one small step for man and one giant pathetic leap for mankind. Right?
Right.
Yes, that's how
I think that's the quote.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. NASA is examining a claim that astronaut Anne McClain improperly accessed the bank accounts of her estranged spouse from the International Space Station she was in. So McClain's spouse is former Air Force intelligence officer Sumner Warden, and Warden brought a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission that McClain had committed identity theft. Despite no indication of moved or spent funds, so it seems it was just McClain logging in to spy on her ex and see how well she was doing financially.
Wait, hold on. I think you got this story wrong.
It's two ladies,
I don't. Oh, God.
2 women married. Yeah.
in space.
I'm really confused.
Warden's parents brought an additional
Damn,
complaint with
that's
NASA's,
hot though.
Yeah.
Space. Emmanuel in space.
Lesbians in space.
Oh, yeah.
Warden's parents brought an additional complaint with NASA's Office of Inspector General, alleging that not only did McClain improperly access Warden's private financial records, but the motive is she is executing a highly calculated and manipulative campaign to gain custody of Warden's son. So,
Whoa.
seems it digs a little deeper.
Yeah,
McClain,
that's alarming.
yeah.
Yeah, that's alarming. But wait, what the fuck? Hold on. Does the computer at the International Space Station just access everything? Like it
It's
it can go anywhere?
It's just the internet. She just logged into Chase with a.
She just used her
ex's
she just knew her
credentials. She knew her
username.
password.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the IP address is like probably 00001.
Right,
Like
you
they're
can't-
gonna know that
you-
you're
yeah,
dialing from space.
Yes, they know exactly who's doing it, where it's coming from. McClain's
Oh.
lawyer, Rusty Hardin, great name by the way, says McClain strenuously denies that she did anything improper and is totally cooperating. He added that McClain was monitoring the account to ensure the well-being of Warden's son, who they had been raising together, using the same password to access the account as she had through their relationship. Yeah. So there you go. Well, she just, she can.
Yeah, not a
they
big
have
deal.
internet in space.
He's also going to direct lesbians in space.
Right. Just one problem, though, there, Rusty. They are no longer in a relationship as the 2 women were divorced in 2018 after McClain accused Warden of assault. A move Warden claimed was bullshit and, like her parents recently alleged, says was part of a long-standing attempt by McClain to gain custody of her son. A few months later, McClain went to space, and Warden then discovered that her bank accounts had just been being logged into. What? How cute is this fucking kid? How adorable is
also,
this kid?
you just gotta. This is not about getting the kid. This is jealousy, and you just gotta let jealousy go when you're in space.
You're
in space!
How is she going to parent from space anyway?
You can't.
She's like, you're not doing well with your finances, but at least you're not in outer space.
I mean, if you're Warden, you're like, the best place McClain can be is in space.
This is space. No,
Yeah.
but she's still fucking logging in. We've all been jealous before and wondered what an ex is up to. But you're in goddamn space.
Warden is like, there's only a 20% chance she's making it back alive.
You got nothing else to do at the space station.
Yeah.
Just log into
Well,
everyone's
apparently
accounts.
get porn up there, Will.
This is going to become a larger issue in about 10 years when Amazon can do 2-day shipping to outer space, because returns are going to be a nightmare from outer space, guys. Ask Leprechaun.
My Leprechaun in the hood, Back to the Hood DVD is broken.
Oh, man. Leprechaun in space. We're going to have a watch party. All right.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's be honest. The old tale that you swallow like 8 spiders in your sleep every year is bullshit. Spiders avoid
No, it's
people.
not.
It's definitely bullshit. Spiders avoid people for the most part. And while it is possible to swallow one while sleeping, it would be incredibly random and highly unlikely, unless, of course, it drops down from the ceiling in the middle of the night and lands right inside Mark's mouth.
Yeah, I don't like this story.
He does sleep with his mouth open.
Yeah.
But it could be like a really small spider.
Could be, but they avoid, like, air. And I mean, they just avoid your fucking mouth.
You could breathe it in real easy.
They're just the worst.
Yeah. And in a story straight out of Mark's nightmares, a Kansas City woman went to the doctor because she thought she had water in her ear, hearing a strange whooshing sound. But when she went to the doctor, they didn't find water. No, they found a spider.
It was just the whooshing of 8 legs.
Yeah. That's spider for you're fucked.
No,
Yeah.
man. It was the spider trying to keep his cover. He was
It was just the spider just ejaculating silk jizz in her ear.
Yeah. And it was a brown recluse, no less. So like they said it was about the size of a dime. So not a small spider. So after
Damn.
carefully,
Do you remember when PFT's face got bit by a brown locust?
Yeah, he got fucked up.
those
He was
things
moving wood from a pile.
they will fuck you up. So upon removing the spider, doctors informed the woman that she was very lucky she had not gotten bitten by the highly venomous spider, but also very unlucky that a spider crawled into her ear. So
Yeah, it was
mostly
a lucky,
unlucky.
Unlucky scenario. Mainly unlucky.
yeah, mainly unlucky.
The spider's not going to trash its own house. You know what I mean?
But you're one of 2 people in the recorded history that had a brown recluse living inside of her. So
Yeah. So have fun sleeping with earplugs in tonight, Mark, for the rest of your life.
Ugh.
And that's going to do it for Hard Factor. We hope you had a fantastic weekend. Don't forget we have some new merch out, and buying a T-shirt is a great way to help you look cool and in the know. It also helps us in our goal to go completely full-time and bring you lots more content, which is our goal. So do us a favor and grab a shirt. Will you? Will you please?
Please
Buy a shirt.
Yeah, buy one.
Also,
No, don't do it.
just fucking buy a shirt.
Let me try something here. Don't do it. Don't buy a shirt.
Oh, it's reverse psychology. Don't buy 10 shirts.
Don't buy 10 shirts.
Your mom will hate it.
Also, don't forget about our live Power Hour featuring PFT Commenter on September 4th here in Austin, Texas, and on the East Side at the East Side Tavern. So if you live
Nailed
here,
it.
yeah, that was tough. So if you live here, come on out and drink some beers with us, and most importantly, have a great fucking day.